morning, everyone. It is Thursday, and you'll have to excuse my voice. I'm getting over a cold, and I'm on my way to the doctor. Not that they can do anything for me, but I need an excuse to get back to work. After 3 days, you need a doctor's note or something. So I thought I would take this time being stuck in traffic to make a video. And I'm not sure what I want to make it about. There's a couple of topics, but one came up this morning with someone on Facebook, and they were deleting. They made a post stating if you're a complainer or you complain, delete me as a friend or block me as a, I don't know, however he worded it, but just, basically get away from him is basically what he was saying, because he doesn't want to experience people complaining. And so obviously if we're running away from something, that means that it's triggering something within us, and so we're running away from it, so we're no longer triggered. And this has to do with law of attraction. Now, this individual is a follower of Abraham Hicks, which is a teacher of law of attraction. But Abraham Hicks doesn't teach the full scope of law of attraction. Abraham Hicks only teaches the aspect of the good things, or what feels good, or what looks good from the law of attraction, but not its entirety. And so law of attraction, I guess, is the topic, and I made a video about this before, but I'm not sure if I talked about this aspect of it. Law of attraction works in a certain way where it encompasses both positive and negative experiences. It is the delivery system of an experience. And so law of attraction is not operating on its own. Law of attraction is like a delivery system, like a mail carrier. Like the mail carrier is delivering you a specific thing. So, for instance, if you get a check in the mail or you get a bill in the mail, the mailman is the delivery system to bring you these two things. And now one of the things is an unwanted thing, and one of the things is a wanted thing. So the check would be the wanted thing, and the bill would be the unwanted thing. But understand that the mailman is going to bring it to you no matter what it is, because that is its job. So the law of attraction operates in the same way. So in this instance, the gentleman who was posting, who made the post, was actually receiving a bunch of complainers, and so this was triggering something within him, and he's saying, hey, I don't want this anymore. So he's telling the mailman, I don't want this anymore. But the mailman has a duty, it has an obligation to carry out what cause and effect and karma, which is a law of compensation. So the law of compensation in conjunction with the law of cause and effect is merging together and asking the law of attraction to deliver the message to the guy. So you can't run away from it. It's like bill collectors. They're gonna find you. So you can move your address all you want to, but they're going to find you. You can tell the bill collector that you left, you moved from the premises, and you don't want to be bothered with them anymore, but they will find you. So the law of attraction will always find you because the universe always knows where the soul is, and that's what the law of attraction is responding to. That's what the law of cause and effect is responding to. That is what the law of compensation, aka karma, is responding to. So God's system, let's just say this. God knows where all of his children are. And God has created a system to keep track of all of his children. And since the soul is the child of God, God in God's system knows where you are at all times. So there is a tracking system within your soul, and there's no way you can outrun the law of attraction. Now, what you can do is, like I said, you can try to cut off the message. You can say, hey, look, I'm not taking this message. I don't want to receive it anymore. And that's fine. But the law of attraction will just find another way. In addition to the law of compensation and the law of cause and effect, will also find another and more obvious way And it's going to be, I don't want to say painstaking, but it's going to be more intense than the complainers. Now, for me, I think the complaining is a great thing. It's like, hey, look, it's outside of me. It's not something that's causing a great deal of harm, but it's sending the message. But we don't want to see the message. So what happens is things will intensify to the point where it will manifest some type of disease within the body. Now, you know what? Give me the message the way you're giving it to me now. That's how I see it. So when people irritate me, because complainers, they irritate me too, because it's like, oh my God. Now, I used to see complainers growing up as a child, and it used to just annoy me because I was taught really not to complain. Like, don't say anything. Like, you just suck it up and live with it. Be strong, be a man, whatever. However, parents, teach their children to not complain, to overlook things that, and basically it's because the parents don't want to hear it. But that's another subject. So everything that we experience is because there's something within our soul that's attracting it to us. And once it attracts to us, or it comes to us, we then get triggered, which we get annoyed, we get irritated, we get sad, depending on what it is, we will experience a certain emotion. Well, that's the emotion that dwells within us, and that's the trigger. It's saying, hey, look, remember when you felt this when you were younger? Remember when you felt this way as a child? That's what it's there to do. That's what that's what the delivery system is for. It's to show you what dwells in the soul. So the law of compensation, the law of cause and effect, they're all working together to show you what's within your soul. Now, on the flip side of that, what Abraham teaches is that focus on the good things and the good things will come. Well, what Abraham basically teaches is, and other law of attraction teachers as well, they teach people to ignore the bad, which is what this guy was doing. He's saying, okay, I'm receiving this message from people and it's getting on my nerves. I'm going to cut it out so I can focus on the good things, because these negative things are keeping me from focusing on the things that I want. And the word specifically that he used was, it's unwanted. So he doesn't want to experience the complainers, so he's asking them to please leave, get out of my life. But this is going to be an impossible task, because the people aren't the problem. The problem is him. The problem is something that's dwelling within his soul, but he's asking other people to do the work for him so he doesn't have to. And this is the problem with the current New Age law of attraction teachings, is that they do not understand the entirety of the law. And it's almost like you saying, okay, well, let's say you got a ticket for speeding, and you learned a part of the law that can probably get you off of the ticket, right? However, you didn't study the entire law that pertains to you, so therefore you go into court thinking that you're going to win the case. However, the lawyer who studied the entire law knows of some loopholes, and he's able to get the judge to get you to pay the ticket. And this is the problem: is the New Age teachings of law of attraction is only teaching you a fraction of the law. So therefore you don't know the entirety of the law, which means that you really don't have any control. Now, the whole point of this law of attraction is to show you what's within you so that you can fix it. But if you don't understand the law to be something to show you that there's something within your soul that needs to be fixed, then how can you fix it? You're knowing that something is there that you don't want. Fine, yes, I understand that. But it's not teaching you how to get rid of it. And so the methods that people are using to get rid of it really aren't getting rid of it. It's not... I need some coffee. One moment. That was hot. Okay. So, it's showing you what needs to be fixed, but you can't fix it if you don't know that that's what it's there for. And most people don't know that's what it's there for. They just believe that, hey, it's showing me something they call it contrast. This is what Abraham Hicks teaches as contrast. You need the contrast, you need the contrast, you need the contrast to show you what you don't want so you know what you do want. That's basically what Abraham is saying. But that's not true. You don't have to experience something bad in order to know that you want something good. So let's take a child who has never experienced anything bad. Let's say that child was sheltered and he was exposed, or she was exposed, however, boy or girl, it doesn't matter, take your pick, and they were exposed to the things that they wanted. Like, oh, that's fun, I want to do that, and that's fun, I want to do that, and that's fun, I want to do that, and that's fun, and I want to do that. There isn't any contrast. It's only desire from the soul. That's it. So the idea that you have to accept contrast in order to know the good from the bad is not accurate. The reason why you're experiencing what is called contrast is because it's within your soul and you don't know that it's there. That's the problem. Contrast isn't something that's just this random thing that you need in order to find your way through life. Contrast is the crap that you got from your parents when you were conceived that you don't know was even there. And for most people, still don't know that's there. They don't understand. Most people do not understand why they keep following the same footsteps as their parents, meaning mistakes. They don't understand that. Well, it's just genetics. So, they chalk it up to be something, that they can possibly explain or that makes sense. And so when they look at genetics and DNA, that's what they go with. And then it's just, it's done. They don't question it any further. And it's almost impossible for them to try to change because they haven't released that what's within the soul. Like, I have a family member and, they despise their mother. They just despise their mother. And they tried their best to be different than their mother. And, I mean, from marriage to the children, it happened exactly the same. Exactly the same. So no matter what that family member did, they still ended up like their mother. And my gosh, this person is hard-headed as hell too, I swear. Oh my gosh. So, it's what dwells within the soul. That's what it is. And that's what law of attraction is responding to, is your soul. It's very important for you to learn about your soul. You don't have to, a lot of the things that I share from A.J. Miller, a.k.a. Jesus, it doesn't matter what he's claiming his name to be. Pay attention to what he's saying and you will learn about yourself. And look, people get caught up in these names, people got caught up in the name Trump. Oh, he's a rich businessman. He'll know how to run the country. Well, look, you were focused so much on him, you didn't look at his record. His record was unimportant to many people. And now look, people are frustrated, especially the people who didn't vote for him, but the people who voted for him are really frustrated now too, because they didn't look at the record. So it's not about the person, meaning the name of the person. It's about what the person is sharing, what the person knows. It's the knowledge. That's what's important. It doesn't matter if someone is butt ugly who is teaching a model how to be beautiful and put on makeup. It doesn't matter what the person looks like as long as the person knows what they're doing. And so when I share this information from A.J. Miller or Jesus or whatever you want to call the man, Yeshua, God, man, has so many names. So it doesn't matter about the name. It's the information that he's sharing. And I guarantee you, he's sharing some information that is accurate. I've applied some of it. Not only have I applied some of it, I personally have a unique perspective on the thing because of what I do as a past life regressionist or a hypnotist in terms of talking with spirits and hearing about what's going on in the spirit world. When AJ is talking about the spirit world, it's lining up. Not only is it lining up, it's explaining some of the things that the spirits from the sessions aren't able to explain. And it's also able to explain some of the things that the spirits are doing, that the spirits don't even know that they're doing. So when I share information, I'm not sharing it just because it's ooh, fascinating, ooh, like there's some accuracy to what this man is saying. And some of the things I can't verify, but you use logic and you can pretty much tell that what he's saying is on point. But I mean, like I said, you have to want to know more about your soul. You have to want to know more. You have to want to change. Look, I made a post about these 5-minute videos people keep wanting me to make. You know, make more videos, make more videos. Look, I can tell you point blank, you ain't learning anything from my videos. It's an addiction. It makes you feel like, oh yeah, I know this. It's all intellectual, but you're not learning anything. Because if you really want to learn something, it's like going to school and learning calculus. Most people don't want to be in the class, but they're there because they have to be. So when you, if you really want to learn something, you're going to be in it all the way. There isn't going to be a part of you that's going to want to be out of it, which is why I can sit through hours. Oh my God, this traffic. I can sit through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of video. I can listen to AJ Miller on the way to work, all day while I'm at work, and on my way home, and while I'm in bed. Like, this is, for me, I want to know. I want to learn. So there is a deep desire for me to learn. But it's not the same for everyone. Everyone wants 30 minutes. They want 30 minutes. They want 5 minutes. They want 20 minutes. You know, I had a friend. Well, she's not my friend anymore. She blocked me from Facebook because my beliefs in God do not correlate with hers. So she's like, anyway, she's a mathematician, right? And so here, this woman has a love for math. She loves mathematics. And so she claims she has ADD or ADHD, I don't know, one of them acronyms she has where she can't sit still for 5 minutes, you know, because it's anxiety or whatever. So here she can sit through hours and hours and hours of math. She can stand in one place for quite some time talking about math, but she can't sit in one place listening to things about her soul. Come on now. We pick and choose, and we use excuses to validate or support the reasons why we don't want to do something. That's what's really happening. Because even people with whatever so-called, what is it, ADHD? I think it's ADHD. They come up with so many of them. These, you know, to get you to take a pill. So anyway, it's because people don't want to focus on certain things, but they're willing to focus on others. And why am I getting a phone call? 1 second. Okay, I don't know if this... Oh, it started a new video. Ugh, I thought I hit the pause button, but maybe the phone call kicked it off. Anyway, yeah. I don't know what I was talking about. I know what I was talking about, but I don't know where I left off. Anyway, the law of attraction, it's, like I said, it's a delivery system, and everything that we experience, we're supposed to look at because we're experiencing it because it's within our soul. So when you see people who argue, when you see people who are having these experiences that cause them sadness and pain, and they get angry, all of it is it's just an experience. Now the reaction is something completely different. So generally what's happening is an experience will cause someone pain. It's either going to bring pain or happiness. So if someone has their lights cut off, let's just say that. Let's say someone has their electricity turned off. And not they have it, but the power company did it. And they don't have the money for it to be turned back on. Well, when you're sitting in the dark, you're not angry. You're feeling sad. One, you have to acknowledge the pain that the experience is bringing you. It's bringing you a sense of overwhelmment. It's bringing you a sense of lack. It's bringing you a sense of not having enough money, of not being able to make it, and not being able to have someone there to support you. So there's a lot of things that are going on that's causing pain. But what most people do is they go straight to anger. They get pissed off, and they'll call the power company and they'll make up all these different excuses, like I have kids and how am I supposed to cook for my kids, and what am I supposed to do with no power, and I need power to get ready for work, blah blah blah, and the list goes on and on and on. But that's not the problem. The problem is not the power company. The problem is not the customer service agent. They didn't do it. The law of attraction has brought this experience to the person to show them that they have a belief that they need this experience. They need to suffer. There's something within them that they need to get rid of. And that's what the law of attraction is doing, is bringing them a message. It's saying, here, this is what the law of cause and effect is asking me to bring you in conjunction with the law of compensation, which is karma. So if you grew up in a family where you never had and you hated it, then you have a negative view of that experience. When you were younger, there was something, I'm just talking about this experience, and it's really with anything of lack. When you were younger, you had an experience where you didn't have, and that brought a lot of pain. It could be you saw kids playing with the toys. It could be that you saw other kids having a good time because they had money and you didn't, and your parents didn't, and so you weren't able to do things, and that made you sad. See, there's a lot of things that we feel but we don't release. And that's what the law of attraction is responding to. It's not responding to anything else. So when someone says they're trying to use their mind to, get people to stop being on their Facebook because they complain a lot, that's not fixing anything. That's running away from it. It may feel like or seem like you're fixing it, but it's just law of attraction is going to find another avenue to deliver the message. That's all. And the message is going to be intensified because you said return to sender. And the return to sender and the person who sent it is like, no, you need this. This is what you need. That's what God's laws are doing. It's saying, hey, look, God's laws are saying, look, hey, this is what's in you. It needs to go because I believe that you should live in a state of harmony and in a state of harmony with love, and you can't do that because you have this unloving thing within your soul, and I'm sending you the message so you can see it, but you keep sending it back to me, so I'm going to have to send you another message that's a bit more obvious, and then if you send that back to me, I'm going to have to send you something else that's even more obvious than that, until it gets to the point where it's going to show up in your body and you can't ignore it, but then you will ignore it, so then I'll have to intensify it. You understand? This is how it works. So every time you have an experience and you ignore it, it's going to come back bigger. Bigger, 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 and more painful. Because the pain is there to get your attention. The pain is not there to make you suffer. The suffering is something that's a consequence of you ignoring the earlier signs. You're getting the friendly reminder. Like I got a friendly reminder yesterday in my email for this Wayfair thing. I have a Wayfair account, but for some reason they don't have automatic payment, and so I have to remember to pay it. And I've gotten out of the habit of paying my bills because everything that I owe by my creditors or whatever, they're all automatic payments. So I don't even think about it. It just comes out of my account automatically. But this one card is the only one that's not like that. And so I had made a large payment of a month ago. And so I thought everything was taken care of. I thought I set up automatic payment, but what I did was I set up a scheduled payment, and in my mind I thought I was doing automatic payment, so I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think the check. Now granted, it popped in my head many times and I was like, oh, I already took care of that, and it popped in my head again, and I was like, oh, I already took care of that. I don't need to log on. So what did I do? I didn't log on, and so then I got a friendly reminder saying, hey, you're past due, and now you get hit with a $25 late charge, all because I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen to the message that I was getting. And this is what happens with the law of attraction. So I'm pretty good at looking at pain, but I'm not that great at looking at these messages that don't have anything to do with pain. So I didn't acknowledge the thought of and it's weird because I didn't see anything with Wayfair in it for it to even be in my mind. it just kept popping up out of nowhere, out of the blue. And I kept telling myself, I already took care of it. But clearly I didn't take care of it the way that it needed to be taken care of. And so the law of attraction was working in my favor to help me take care of something so that I don't experience the pain of having to give free money. And so since I didn't acknowledge the law of attraction as it was delivering my message, now I have to feel the sting of having to pay $25 for no reason at all. Like, I'm not getting anything from it. That hurts. I want my money, you know what I'm saying? I want to use my money to spend on the things that I want to enjoy, not some arbitrary late fee, you know. No. But this is what I'm talking about in terms of the law of attraction. It doesn't matter what the experience is, the law of attraction is responsible for it. What we consider good and what we consider bad, it doesn't matter. It's being delivered by the same system. So we have to look at what's going on, and then we have to ask ourselves, why is it happening? What is it connected to? And the way to find out what the law of attraction is connected to is, if it's not obvious, like my message was, like literally Wayfair kept popping up. Wayfair. That was obvious. Like, that was so obvious. I mean, come on, you can't get any more obvious than that. But in terms of emotions, when we're dealing with emotions that are locked within the soul, am I on the wrong street? What street is this? It's DeSoto. Okay, yeah, I'm on the right street. So we have to look at, oh my God, where was I? We have to look at the emotions within the soul. So when we have an experience, it's tied to something. So I gave a suggestion to the guy. I said it could be I said I will give a couple of suggestions as what it may be, right? What it could possibly be. And I typed it in there, and the person was just so quick to deflect. Now, I specifically said I'm going to give a couple of examples of what it could be. That's what I wrote. And the person wrote back, it's not, those don't have anything to do with me, but I can see that it has something to do with you. But I was just giving examples so that person can start looking, but that person didn't want to, which told me that this person is in complete denial and is not reading what I'm writing. He's reading what he wants to hear, and he's doing any and everything to get out of having to do with anything around this topic. So he wants all of it to just leave, just go. And this tells me when a person is in denial. And the same thing happened with that other family member that I told you. That person is in complete denial. And you can tell anytime you bring something up to someone, they'll just deflect. That's what they do. They will just deflect, and they won't acknowledge. They won't say, hey, you know what? I'll have to think about that. Or they won't say, well, why do you feel that way? They just automatically deflect as if you're wrong, just to prove you wrong. And it's really in their mind. They're deflecting so that for themselves, they're proving you wrong. They're basically what they're doing is they're dismissing it. And it's not because of you, it's because of them. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to experience it. So, anyway, that's the law of attraction. The law of attraction. And if you want to check out, I actually uploaded 4 videos. They're pretty lengthy, of course. You know, most of my videos that I post are pretty long. But literally, they're like an hour and 45 minutes a piece. And it's really 2 sessions, or 1 session in 1 day, and then another session, and then there's a question and answer. But I have it labeled as an in-depth look at law of attraction. It's part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. And part 4 is basically questions and answers, Q&A, after the presentation of the in-depth look at law of attraction. But you'll understand the fullness of law of attraction. It's not just this one-sided, I want to be happy view. that's not going to fix anything. And let me tell you, it may work for you now because you're using your willpower to change things from this thing to that thing. That's what you're doing. You're using willpower to move things around, move people around, move that energy around, move that energy away from you so that you have a better experience. But it's still within your soul. So when you die, it's still there. It's still there. And this is why people suffer. This is why people end up in the hells, because now they're having to deal with all those things that are within their soul that they chose to ignore when they were here on earth. This is why it's so important to understand your soul and clean it up. Nobody wants that junk. Look, I'm telling you, you don't want, I mean, people do not, look, I look at these spirits, you know, who speak from the other side, who are in the hells or who have been in the hells, and I listen to their experiences. And I learn from their experiences. So, am I on the right street? I think so. This feels so weird. So, I look at their experiences. I'm like, wow, that's a very unpleasant way to live. I don't want to live like that. So, I better clean up my act. I better find out what's within my soul and clean it up so that I don't have the same experience that they have. Well, you can do the same thing on earth, and actually people do the same thing here on earth, which is you look at someone who's on drugs, strung out on drugs, a crack addict, or someone who's strung out on alcohol or meth, or they're just any kind of drug. It doesn't matter what, if they're a pill popper, it doesn't matter what it is. Cocaine, you see their lives being destroyed because of it, and you say to yourself, I don't want to engage in that because I don't want that result. Well, that's what I do when I see these spirits talk about their experience based on what's within their soul. I don't want to have to experience it in order for me to decide that's not what I want. Why would I want to do that? If that's the case, everyone would be on some kind of drugs until they hit rock bottom, and then they decide, oh, I don't want this life anymore. But by that time, you've experienced so much pain and caused so much damage in your life, now you have to get out of that. You understand? So it's important to look at what's within our soul. It's not just, and look, I know most people on the planet have no clue what's going on, but there's a reason why you're even hearing this video. There is a reason why you are hearing this video. It is part of your law of attraction. Guaranteed, not everybody is going to hear this. Not everybody's going to learn about the law of attraction. There's a reason why you're hearing it. But again, you're like, I don't want to listen to the message. Send the message back. It's too much. What's going to be too much is you bearing everything that's within your soul at one time. Try that. Because you won't have the same facade that you have here. You won't have that same ability to say, oh, you know, I'll just deal with it later. You're not going to have that opportunity. Well, you can have that opportunity, but in order to have it, that means you have to overcloak, or not overcloak, but you have to influence other souls to get your addictions met. So you have to link into them, get them to do something that they don't want to do in order for you to get the feeling of satisfaction, to take your mind off of the pain that you have within your soul. And that's going to cause you even more damage when you do that. So it's very important to learn about yourself. You trying to get in there, sir? It's very important to learn about yourself. And so here I'm pulling up to the thing, the geyser. So I'll have to end this video. So, oh, this place looks so different. I haven't been here in I don't know how long. Gosh, it's been years since I've been here. Anyway. So, anyway, yeah, that's it. That's it, law of attraction. So, have a wonderful day, Thursday. Woohoo! And I'll talk to you guys later. All right? Have a good one. Bye now.